Hello everyone, and welcome to my General Hospital official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. General Hospital spoilers indicate that Nina Reeves' cheating scheme may backfire. Will Willow Corinthos side with Drew Kane and blame her mother for the setup? When Nina first started putting this plan together with Portia Robinson, she was skeptical that Drew would cheat on Willow, at least at this point in their relationship. That's why Nina recommended framing Drew with Jacinda the hooker instead. Of course, there's an issue here because Nina didn't believe Drew's true treachery. Willow may find it suspicious until she gets over her shock and indignation at discovering Drew in bed with someone else. According to GH spoilers, Jacinda would play her role brilliantly and try to convince Willow that the attractive congressman wanted her. Drew, on the other hand, will tell a totally different story, and based on his hazy memories from the night before, he will not be surprised to learn that he was drugged. Drew's wheels may start spinning if he realizes a trap has been created. Drew may piece it all together and claim that someone wanted Willow to have this horrible homecoming surprise. Naturally, Drew may conclude that Nina is the most likely person to go to such lengths to end their relationship. Willow may also recall telling Nina when she was flying back, and possibly giving her mom the green light. Willow is so determined to believe Drew is her knight in shining armor that she may accept his version of events. When Drew swears not to throw away what they share, Willow can easily envision seizing his hand and declaring she believes him. Willow has demonstrated her willingness to kick Nina to the curb anytime her mother makes a mistake. Drew will most likely have little trouble convincing people that Nina has manufactured another one. This could be precisely what Drew needs to turn Willow against her mother, and Nina's plan could fail horribly. Whether Portia agrees to this, Nina absolutely could. Willow may confront Nina and demand to know whether she set Drew up. Nina may struggle to conceal her remorse, leaving Willow prepared to cut her mother out of her life completely. If that happens, would Nina realize she has nothing to lose by disclosing her previous relationships with Drew? Will Nina preserve those secrets for fear of jeopardizing any chance of reconciliation? Regardless, General Hospital spoilers indicate that Nina's predictions regarding drowning Drew may not come true, so stay tuned for updates on the devastating news. General Hospital spoilers. Nina's cheating trap backfires. Willow supports Drew and blames mom. The drama in Port Charles never stops, and Nina Reeves herself once again in the midst of a rising storm. Nina, known for her cunning methods and ability to manipulate events to her advantage, has prepared what she perceives to be the ideal trap, this time for Drew Kane. However, history has proven that Nina's intentions frequently spin out of control, resulting in unexpected casualties. This time her plan may fail miserably, pushing her own daughter, Willow Corinthos, further away. The consequences of Nina's actions may cause Willow to side with Drew, and eventually blame her mother for yet another problem. Nina's next strategy looks to involve framing Drew for infidelity. Whether she fabricates evidence, twists harmless exchanges, or simply lies, her purpose appears to be to harm Drew's credibility and relationships, maybe in vengeance for his role in exposing her previous wrongdoings. Nina has never taken loss lightly, and her vendettas may be ruthless. However, her plan is dependent on people trusting her account of events, which may not go as easily as she wishes. Drew has established a solid reputation in Port Charles, and many folks, including Willow, have grown to trust him. If Nina's charges are too far-fetched or lack actual evidence, she may face suspicion rather than support. Willow Corinthos has had a rocky relationship with her mother since the beginning. Willow felt betrayed, angry, and reluctantly affectionate after realizing Nina was her biological mother. While she has attempted to offer Nina opportunities to prove herself, Nina's manipulative traits have frequently harmed their relationship. If Willow discovers Nina is behind yet another dishonest plot, especially one aimed at Drew, someone she respects, it could be the final straw. Willow has gotten stronger and more aggressive with time, and she may no longer be willing to accept her mother's actions. Willow may remain by Drew rather than turn against him, understanding that Nina is the true originator of the upheaval. Drew Kane, meanwhile, has been trying hard to restore his life following his encounter with Victor Cassadine. He has reconciled with his loved ones, including his children and Carly Corinthos, and has attempted to move forward with integrity. Drew is unlikely to take Nina's phony accusations of cheating lying down. He may respond by revealing Nina's ruse, rallying allies behind him, and ensuring the truth is revealed. Drew will not allow Nina's tactics to undo the accomplishments he has accomplished, given his track record of resilience. If anything, her attack may deepen his ties, especially if others see through her deception. Nina's unsuccessful trap may have far-reaching consequences beyond Willow and Drew alone. Willow's husband, Michael Corinthos, has never been a fan of Nina's, and if he believes she is causing further harm to his family, he may take harsh measures. Michael has often demonstrated that he will go to great lengths to protect Willow and their children, and if Nina's deception causes any of them mental suffering, he may respond legally or financially. The Corinthos family wields immense power in Port Charles, and Nina may face far more severe consequences than she expected. Another thing to consider is Carly Spencer's reaction. Carly and Nina's hatred is legendary, and if Carly learns about Nina's current plan, she will not remain silent. Carly has a knack for turning Nina's own plots against her, and she may use this occasion to further expose Nina's true nature. Carly and Drew's connection is still solid, and she might become one of his toughest supporters, making Nina's lies even more difficult to spread. In Port Charles, there is also a court of public opinion. While Nina has some admirers, including her husband, Sonny Corinthos, many others regard her with distrust. If it becomes out that she made up claims against Drew, Sonny may find it difficult to defend her. Sonny has been attempting to reconcile his allegiance to Nina with his own moral code, and if he believes she has crossed a line, their marriage may suffer further difficulty. Sonny has forgiven Nina for a lot, but if her actions harm innocent people, particularly Willow, he may reach his breaking point. Willow may suffer serious emotional consequences as a result of this predicament. She had longed for a secure, loving relationship with her mother, but Nina's actions reinforce the notion that she cannot be trusted. If Willow is forced to choose between standing by Drew, who has been a helpful figure in her life, and defending Nina, she may finally decide enough. Willow's sorrow at understanding her mother would rather manipulate than change could cause her to separate herself from Nina completely, blaming her for yet another useless quarrel. Finally, Nina's cheating trap may not only fail but possibly backfire in unexpected ways. Instead of causing a gap between Drew and Willow, she may bring them closer together, united in their displeasure with her deception. The more Nina attempts to dominate the narrative, the more isolated she may become, with even her closest allies questioning her motivations. Port Charles has seen its fair share of scams implode, but this one may have long-term consequences for Nina's relationships, particularly with the daughter she claims to adore. Willow's journey has been one of endurance and self-discovery, and this newest battle may be the moment she truly emerges from Nina's shadow. Willow was finally able to break free from the pattern of manipulation by side with Drew, and holding her mother accountable. Drew's survival of Nina's attack could strengthen his reputation in Port Charles as a man of integrity, demonstrating once again that honesty triumphs over dishonesty. Nina, on the other hand, may be forced to bear the repercussions of her actions again. Her unwillingness to learn from her mistakes puts her in self-destructive turmoil, and until she changes her ways, she fears losing everything she has worked so hard to keep. The question is whether this will serve as a wake-up call for her, or if she will persist, ensuring her own demise. Only time will tell, but one thing is certain: Port Charles will not run out of drama very soon. As the plot progresses, viewers may anticipate intense confrontations, emotional breakdowns, and shifting alliances. Nina's infidelity trap may have appeared to be a solid strategy in her head, but in reality, it could be the beginning of her downfall. With Willow potentially turning against her and Drew emerging unhurt, Nina may finally learn that some conflicts aren't worth fighting, especially if it means losing the ones she claims to care about the most. Port Charles people are no strangers to treachery and vengeance, but this time, the consequences could change relationships in unanticipated ways. Whether Nina faces actual accountability or finds another means to avoid responsibility remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: her actions will have long-term effects. Willow, Drew, and everyone else caught up in the crossfire will face difficult decisions and emotional reckonings in the coming days. And Nina's ideas may eventually be too expensive to justify. In a village where secrets never remain buried for long, the truth eventually emerges. Nina may assume she is untouchable, But Port Charles has a history of humiliating individuals who overestimate their abilities. As the dust settles, the true victims will be the relationships torn apart by her manipulations. And the final tragedy may be Nina's failure to recognize the damage she has created until it is too late. Fans will have to wait and watch how this dramatic narrative unfolds. Will Willow cut connections with Nina for good? Will Drew be stronger than ever? Will Nina ultimately face the repercussions of her actions, or will she seek yet another method to avoid accountability? Whatever happens, one thing is certain. General Hospital's drama is far from over. General Hospital preview. As Nina sets her plan in motion, Drew is left screaming bloody murder. The drama in Port Charles never stops, and the latest revelations on General Hospital promise to add another dramatic chapter to the ongoing story of betrayal, revenge, and high-stakes deception. Nina Reeves, the master of calculating movements, is putting her next plan into action, one that might have disastrous effects for those caught in her crosshairs. Meanwhile, Drew Kane finds himself in a terrible scenario, driven to the verge by a scream of pure dread and wrath. The tension is evident, and the consequences of these events will definitely send shockwaves through the lives of those concerned. Nina has always been a character motivated by strong emotions, including love, tragedy, and a burning need for justice. Her past betrayals and heartbreaks have turned her into a lady who will not be ignored or overlooked. With her current plot in place, she is ready to strike at the core of her opponents, albeit the collateral damage may be far larger than she expects. Whether Nina is after Sunny, Carly, or someone else entirely, one thing is certain. Her actions will have far-reaching effects. Her motivations are multifaceted, laced with years of pain and bitterness. Nina's drive to reclaim control of her life has been fueled by the collapse of her marriage to Sunny, the mystery surrounding Mike's true identity, and Carly's constant opposition. However, as she carries out her latest plan, she may be underestimating the determination of those she wishes to destroy. Carly, in particular, is not one to back down from a fight, and if Nina's plan includes exposing secrets or demolishing relationships, Carly will respond with everything she has. Meanwhile, Drew Kane's terrible cry indicates that he is in for a considerably more difficult position than he has ever faced. Drew has experienced his fair share of hardship, from his time as a prisoner of war to the psychological agony imposed on him. But whatever he's going through right now has pushed him to his breaking point. Is he physically in danger? Has he discovered a horrific truth that will demolish his world? Or is he watching something awful happening to a loved one? One scenario is that Drew discovered Nina's scheme and understands too late the scope of her deception. If Nina's strategy involves injuring Willow, Scout, or even Carly, Drew will be horrified. His protective instincts have always been strong, especially towards his family. Another hypothesis is that Drew is encountering a ghost from his past, someone he thought was gone forever, but has returned to cause havoc. Could Jason Morgan's shadow be lurking over Drew again? Or is a new adversary forming, one with ties to Drew's worst moments? The junction of Nina's strategy and Drew's anxiety indicates that their paths are going to clash in a disastrous manner. If Nina's actions endanger someone Drew cares about, the confrontation that follows might be explosive. Drew is not one to sit back when innocent lives are at stake, and if Nina is the mastermind behind this new crisis, he will hold her accountable, no matter the cost. Beyond the immediate commotion, the aftermath of these events will be felt across Port Charles. Sunny, ever the explosive force, may find himself divided between his lingering feelings for Nina and his devotion to Carly and his family. If Nina's plot reveals long-buried secrets, Sunny's reaction could range from outrage to unexpected sympathy, depending on what truths emerge. Michael, Willow, and the rest of the Quartermain clan will also be drawn into the storm, especially if Drew's predicament affects their family in any way. Then there's the matter of who else is making decisions behind the scenes. Cyrus Renault may be lurking in the shadows, waiting for the ideal opportunity to strike. Valentine Cassadine may have his own agenda, influencing events to further his objectives. And don't forget Ava Jerome, whose allegiances change with the wind. She might either help Nina or betray her, depending on what advantages her the most. As the tension rises, friendships, relationships, and loyalties will be called into doubt. General Hospital spoilers for the week of April 28th to May 2nd state that Lulu Spencer will confess to Dante Falconeri, while Jack Brennan assists Carly Spencer. Nina Reeves will also have last-minute misgivings. So here's what fans should expect. First, Alexis Davis will have to deal with her irate daughters. Christina Corinthos Davis and Molly Lansing Davis will both demand an explanation for the papers that led to Christina being placed in a psychiatric facility. Alexis may be cautious about what she says in front of Molly, but it may be time to confront Christina discreetly about Ava Jerome's blackmail. Christina has to be aware of the catastrophe she has made. Tracy Quartermaine will provide some facts to Giovanni Gio Palmieri and attempt to persuade him to have a poor opinion of Sonny Corinthos. Gio may be surprised by what Tracy discloses, but he will also be concerned about Sonny if he learns about the latest hit attempt. Sonny will almost avoid a terrible tragedy at the Los Angeles hospital, so Carly will have her own problems. Carly will rely on Brennan for comfort and direction, which may lead to him proposing a theory regarding Sonny's dangerous enemy. Brennan will speculate, which may lead Carly to consider Jen Sidwell as a prime suspect. While Lucas Jones and Marco Rios build their bond, Portia Robinson will run across Jordan and Curtis Ashford in a close encounter. It appears that Jordan will reveal some information to Curtis about her Sidwell plot. Thus Curtis may also provide Portia with updates because he does not want any secrets between them. Unfortunately, Portia is harboring more secrets about her Drew Kane blackmail drama and the hooker trap she set up with Nina. Although Nina will have last-minute reservations about whether she should go with this plan, there may not be enough time to change direction. Willow Corinthos will return from Germany and eventually find Drew in a compromising position. Drew, who has been drugged, will end up in bed with Jacinda, as Nina had intended, so he'll hustle to convince Willow that this was all a setup once she witnesses the scandalous incident. According to GH Spoilers, Laura Collins will have a strategy session with Curtis before meeting up with Lulu. Laura may be about to give a worrying prediction because Lulu continues to push Brooke Lynn Quartermaine's buttons. Brooke Lynn and Lulu's escalating dispute may put Laura on edge. Laura may also be concerned about Lulu's love for Dante, and whether her daughter would feel rejected if she comes clean too soon. Regardless, Lulu will confess her love for Dante in the next episodes, so there will be a lot for these two to handle during their emotional moments. While Jocelyn Jacks devises a plan to get Professor Henry Dalton's approval, Maxie Jones will receive an ultimatum. Will the ultimatum result in more Sidwell difficulties or another situation in which Maxie is caught between Brooke Lynn and Lulu? Finally, Lois Chirulo will be backed into a corner. Could Lois' adoption agency deception come back to haunt her as Lulu's investigation progresses? General Hospital spoilers suggest the week of April 28th to May 2nd will be chaotic, so don't miss it. There's nothing like taking a road trip with your favorite gal companion. However, when you embark on an adventure with not just your closest friend, but also your daughters, the time away is guaranteed to be packed with plenty of fun and laughter. Kirsten Storms and Emmy Ryland from General Hospital did exactly that. Storms shared a snapshot documenting the first leg of their journey, and it didn't take long for her daughter Harper and Ryland's Dakota to become restless. It took approximately 30 minutes for the girls to ask how long we had been in the car for, if we could get food and when were we going to be near a bathroom, she told me. We figured if they were eating McDonald's French fries, we wouldn't get as many inquiries. We were right. If you're curious about how their trip went, Storms posted a fun video with a little bit of this and a little bit of that and stated, "A little bit of our trip so far." She went on to express that no one makes her laugh like Ryland, then continued, "I found a local fire department and Emmy wouldn't stop so I could find a representative for my new holiday. It's fine. I think a police officer would be a better choice." Apparently one of their cats had a run-in with the air mattress, as she commented. Not a good combo, but duct tape can kind of fix that, as shown in the video. The vanity mirror Emmy has been posting about is everything. Wait, did I mention she gets very nervous driving through a roundabout? Storms relayed and showed off a new sweater she created, one she's in love with. Coming off the holiday, she disclosed, Harper's Stanley Cup received a purse for Easter, but did not explain why. To be continued. In another post, the actress revealed their destination. The sky in Nashville? Storms stated, "I was unprepared. I don't think I've seen anything like it. It appears that the girls and their girls are having a great time. Keep a lookout for what happens next on their eventful road trip." Sonny's narrow escape. Lulu confesses to Dante. The tension in Port Charles had reached a boiling point, and the air was thick with unsaid secrets and smoldering betrayals. Sonny Corinthos, a man who had survived numerous threats to his life, found himself once more on the verge of ruin. This time, however, the danger came from an unexpected source, one that even his keen instincts had not entirely predicted. Meanwhile, Lulu Spencer, overwhelmed by shame and the weight of her decisions, was at a crossroads. The truth she had been hiding could have destroyed lives, and the only person she could confide in was Dante Falconeri, whose confidence she wasn't sure she still deserved. The night had been long and full of uncertainty. Sonny had been duped into a trap set by opponents who knew his every move. The warehouse on the docks, which had seen its fair share of violence, was strangely still except for the distant sound of water lapping against the pier. Sonny's senses told him something was amiss, but before he could act, the shadows sprang to life. Gunfire exploded, and he barely managed to hide behind a stack of crates. Bullets flew past him, splintering wood and bouncing off metal. His heart pounded in his chest as he considered his next move. There was no backup, no cavalry to save him. This was a battle he'd have to fight alone. Across town, Lulu paced the floor of her apartment, her thoughts racing. The secret she had kept was eating away at her, and the guilt had grown excruciating. She had promised herself she would never lie to Dante again, and now she was hiding something that may change everything. The look in his eyes the last time they spoke, full of love but tinged with doubt, haunted her. She knew she needed to come clean, but the thought of losing him paralyzed her. She took a deep breath, pulled up her phone and dialed his number. Her hands trembled while she waited for him to respond. Dante had just completed his shift at the PCPD when his phone rang. He felt a jolt when he saw Lulu's name flash over the screen. Things between them had become strained recently, and he couldn't shake the suspicion that she was hiding something from him. "Hey," he said, his tone wary. "Can we talk?" Lulu's voice was barely above a whisper, tinged with something he couldn't quite identify, fear, regret, or possibly both. "Yes, of course. Where are you now?" "At home." "It's crucial, Dante." The heaviness in her tone made his stomach tighten. "I'll be right there." As Dante drove to her apartment, his thoughts raced with possibilities. Had she landed herself in trouble? Was she in danger? Or was it about them, the rifts in their relationship that neither of them had been able to entirely heal? Sonny's predicament worsened as he returned to the warehouse. His attackers were close in, and his ammunition was running out. He had already taken down 2 of them, but more were on their way. His only option was to make a break for the exit, but the route was closed. Just as he readied himself for what appeared to be the end, a familiar voice broke through the commotion. "Sonny, down." Jason Morgan emerged from the darkness with his revolver pulled. He took out the remaining invaders with precise rounds, providing Sonny with the opening he needed. The 2 men rushed quickly, protecting each other as they fought their way out. Once they were clear, Sonny turned to Jason, his breathing heavy. "You always had damn good timing." Jason's expression was bleak. "This was not a random hit. Somebody set you up." Sonny's jaws constricted. "I understand. And I have a fairly good idea who." Meanwhile, Dante had arrived at Lulu's flat. She opened the door before he could knock, her eyes streaming with tears. Without saying anything, she stood aside to let him in. The quiet between them was thick, full of unspoken feelings. "What is going on, Lulu?" Dante finally inquired, his voice calm yet forceful. She drew a nervous breath and clenched her hands together to keep them from trembling. "There is something I need to tell you. I should have told you this a long time ago." Dante's pulse quickened. Whatever it was serious. "Okay. I am listening." Lulu closed her eyes briefly to gather her confidence. When she opened them again, tears streamed down her face. "I lied to you. About anything significant. And I'm not sure if you'll ever forgive me." Dante's stomach sank. "Lulu, just tell me." The words came out quickly, as if she was afraid she wouldn't be able to speak them if she paused. "I knew there was a threat against Sonny. I overheard someone discussing it some days ago, but I didn't say anything. I figured if I stayed out of it, no one would be hurt. But now he might be dead because of me." Dante's face became pallid. "What?" Lulu's confession hung in the air like a storm cloud, gloomy and oppressive. Dante fought to comprehend what she had just admitted. Lulu was aware that his father could have been killed. The treachery caused a deep pain that may never fully heal. Why? Dante's voice was rough from pain. Why aren't you telling me? Tell someone. Lulu shook her head, tears flowing freely now. I felt afraid. I didn't want to become engaged and take us back into that world. But I was mistaken. So wrong. Dante looked away and ran his hand through his hair, attempting to calm his breathing. Their trust had previously been shattered, but this felt irrevocable. Sunny and Jason stormed inside the PCPD, drenched in dirt and sweat. Commissioner Anna Devane took one glance at them and realized something serious had happened. What happened? Sunny's eyes were steely with hatred. Someone attempted to kill me, and I demand answers. As the investigation progressed, the conspiracy's links began to unravel. The attack on Sunny was linked to a powerful adversary, one with deep enough links to remain undetected. However, Sunny was not the type of man to ignore threats. Whoever was responsible for this would pay. Dante returned to Lulu's apartment and eventually turned to face her, his countenance opaque. I'm not sure where we go from here, Lulu. I love you, but it's a lot. Lulu nodded as her heart broke. I understand. And I understand if you cannot forgive me. But I needed to tell you the truth. Dante did not respond. He quietly walked away, leaving Lulu standing alone in the silence of her remorse. The impact from that night would reverberate across Port Charles, altering relationships and alliances in ways no one could have anticipated. Sunny's tight escape was only the beginning. The real battle was still to come. And for Lulu and Dante, the future they had once imagined together now hung in the balance, teetering on the brink of a confession that may have come too late. As the sun rose over the city, sending long shadows across the streets, one thing was certain. Nothing would ever be the same again. General Hospital's Kirsten Storms hits the road with a former co-star. Kirsten Storms, widely known for her role as Maxie Jones on the long-running soap opera General Hospital, has lately made headlines for traveling with a former co-star. The actress, who has been a fan favorite for years, generated interest and excitement among fans when she was seen traveling with a familiar face from her past. While the specifics of their journey remain unknown, the reunion has sparked interest in their on-screen chemistry, leaving fans wondering if this could lead to future collaborations. Storms, who joined General Hospital in 2005, has become one of the show's most popular characters, playing the lively and frequently unpredictable Maxie Jones. Storm's character has appeared in a number of dramatic storylines over the years, ranging from romantic entanglements to family feuds, gaining her critical acclaim and a devoted fan base. Her ability to give Maxie depth and authenticity has made her a staple of the series, and her off-screen interactions with other cast members have further contributed to her appeal. The identity of her travel companion has been a source of intense curiosity. While Storms has not publicly revealed who accompanied her on the vacation, fans have speculated based on her previous relationships with co-stars. Some speculate that it could be a former love interest from the program, while others feel it is a close friend from her early days in Port Charles. Regardless of who it is, the prospect of two General Hospital stars reconciling off-screen has sparked a surge of nostalgia and excitement. Storms has already made headlines for reasons unrelated to her acting career. Over the years, she has been frank about her personal hardships, including health issues, and has utilized her position to raise awareness about critical causes. Her honesty and resilience have won her even more fans, who appreciate her not only for her talent, but also for her grit and authenticity. Traveling with a former co-star may appear insignificant, but for longtime General Hospital fans, it serves as a reminder of the bonds built both on and off set. Actors on soap operas frequently collaborate for years, if not decades, forming profound ties that transcend beyond their characters. Storm's reunion with her former co-star highlights the long-term bonds people create in the industry. Whether they're working on a new project or simply spending time together, fans are always excited to see their favorite performers reunite.